That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now
Tired of the snow? Tired of the bad TV signals? Nigeria has gone digital. Introducing Free TV, the national platform for every Nigerian. Get 100 plus channels immediately. Sports, news, and entertainment in your native language. All with clear picture quality. Whether you're in the city or the village, our satellite signal reaches every corner of 36 states from day one. No monthly subscription, just a compatible decoder and you are set. It's a national asset built for you. Take the show on the road, download the Free TV app and stream your favorite channels anywhere. Starting this May, scan to download the app or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by NBC.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
one of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Tigiti Agorum, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
Welcome to the Sage, the program where together we journey to uncover the many hidden treasures in our country. I am Dr. Kechi Obuagu, your privileged sage on this journey. Come walk with me. Come discover with me. In this first episode, and many of the subsequent episodes perhaps to come, we shall be looking at a particular problem of huge importance to our country, Nigeria, and to many other countries across the world. The issue of unemployment, the issue of economic disempowerment. Let me just say that I don't know whether those of you out there are aware of the fact that approximately 80%, that is my rough estimate, of the people in this our country is made up of young people 40 years and below. And our statistics actually say that of this huge population of young people, 40 to 45% of them have no jobs or are underemployed. That's a huge number. That's millions of them. But we also do know that employment has been made so much worse by the pandemic that is currently on all over the world. And therefore, there's an even more urgent need to do something about it. It's not something that government alone can address. We need a multi-sectoral approach where every hand must come on deck, whether it's government or private sector or the NGO sector. In my auspices as the president of Conversations for Change, we are so keenly aware of this. And that is why a prominent part of that program, we're an international nonprofit, is actually helping young people who are keen on being entrepreneurs to become successful entrepreneurs. And so bear with us, because in the next few episodes, you will see many of those amazing young people who have made a success of their business. But again, let me say to many of you, as we said in our pilot episode, that while, yes, we will, to begin with, showcase these homegrown ones, we are open to hearing from many, many of you out there who feel either you are or that you know other wonderful entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs who can be showcased, whom we can learn from. And so in this episode, I'm so excited. I'm so excited because we have a wonderful discovery for you. A young lady, extremely talented, dynamic, hardworking, creative, innovative, I could go on and on. A young lady that truly, truly has inspired me for the past few months. Stay with me. We shall unveil the package. Welcome back to The Sage. I am Dr. Kechi Obuago, your privileged sage on this journey of adventure. It is with a great deal of pleasure that I introduce Ngozi Roland Onwegwumoke.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome to the show. And before I hand over to you and ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself, let me say something more, one more thing about Ngozi. You see, I never get tired of talking about Ngozi. But not only is Ngozi hardworking and enterprising, I think one of the things that endeared me to Ngozi after I met her is she embodies that concept of social entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. A heart that is large. A heart that gives from her own successes, that forever is wanting to teach, to mentor, to take others along with her. And she is a living testimony of the fact that when you give, that is when you truly receive. Ngozi, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Please tell us about yourself.
Thank you. I'm Ngozi Roland Onwegwumoke, a graduate of agricultural economics from the Premium University of Ibadan. I also hold a master's degree in business administration. I am the CEO of Safi Event Managers, an event management and catering outfit. I'm also the CEO of Sem Foods and Spices, where we produce natural and healthy spices. I'm also the convener of Business Mind Foundation.
Wow.
A foundation that brings entrepreneurs and intending entrepreneurs together to help create visibility for their business, to also see how we can create partnership and encourage intending entrepreneurs to start up. And it's been a wonderful journey. It's been awesome, and I'm happy to be here today.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for being with us and agreeing to share. Ngozi, tell us a little about your business. What inspired you? How did you venture into this?
Just like a lot of young people, I would say unemployment pushed me into converting my passion, which is cooking, of course, into a business. That was how the event management and catering outfits came into play. But like the catering industry that we know, it's saturated. So I decided to create a niche for myself, which is the MSG-free catering. That is cooking without our conventional seasoning cubes. And of course, I can't cook for the whole world. So I started thinking of how can I make these available to people who I can't reach out to. And that's when I decided to create the natural spices. Of course, I may not be able to cook for you, but I can send my spice to you irrespective of your location. And so I launched Sem Spices. And 2 weeks after, I had a terrible, terrible accident that almost took my life. In fact, I had about 28 stitches in my head. So it was a downtime for me. It almost led me into depression. I was discouraged. And the money I used in starting the business, funny enough, was money that was deposited for a wedding I was supposed to cater for. You know, I had this dream, I had this vision, this plan that, like a lot of Nigerians would say, I will just blow when I start, But it didn't happen. I didn't see it happen. And then the wedding was still coming, irrespective of my accident, of course. I was still going to cater for the wedding. So it was a downtime for me. And along the line, a friend told me about Conversation for Change, oh, there's an application for a fellowship program, and of course they could give you grants and all that. I said, Nigeria, they've come again, which one is fellowship program and grants? So I reluctantly applied, and I was surprised. Like 2 days later, I got a call. We are invited for an interview. I said, are these people real? Interview? How? Because I remember I didn't even upload some of my documents. I was like, okay, let me just go and see for myself what's happening. And I was told that out of over 200 applicants, 60 were shortlisted, and I was among the 60. I was like, okay. I met the panel. I shared my experience, my passion. It's my passion. So when I'm talking about it, it's a passion, So I talked to them and they said, okay, we'll get back to you. And out of the 60, 15 were shortlisted. And I was still part of them. I was like, okay, I can see, And then we started the fellowship program. They took us through a lot of training. And it made me understand business from a different perspective. So I would say Conversation for Change inspired me to take the next step. They taught me not just to build a business to finance my immediate needs, but to build a legacy for my unborn generation. They taught me how to build structure in my business. So it's a major inspiration. And from there, you talked about social entrepreneurship. Honestly, I didn't even think about that or know about that until I came to Conversation for Change. So they taught us what social entrepreneurship was, about giving back. And that was what birthed Business Mind Foundation. Because I thought, I've learned something from this platform. I can teach it to others who don't have the privilege.
Yeah.
Of
How wonderful.
this knowledge.
How truly wonderful.
And today, glory to God, we're over 1,200 members, and we are growing. So C4C is a major inspiration for my business.
Great. This is, I'm overwhelmed myself. I wasn't quite expecting to hear that.
Okay.
But it is what you are. And for us in C4C, it just brings out all those qualities which we are convinced is what we need for this country, for the world as a whole. That where young people come out, have the courage, follow their dream and their passion, work hard, and then, but also with a spirit of giving, that is the answer to the world's problem. Yeah. So Ngozi, wonderful. Thank you for being on the show and for sharing what drives you and the various brands you're in. Stay with us. When we come back, Ngozi will tell us a little bit more about how she survived the COVID, or perhaps you haven't survived. Stay with us. We'll be back. Thank you, viewers, for continuing to remain with us. As for me, I can never stop enjoying talking to you. So we had a wonderful story, but let me ask you for a little bit more in terms of details. How did your 3 branches grow? What is the structure? And so on. What were the challenges? What did you find as the milestones? And how indeed, so in addition to a little more understanding of your various arms of business and how you have grown, over time, I know you have, but also how have you survived the COVID?
Thank you very much. It's not been an easy journey. Before I joined the C4C fellowship program, I had just 4 spices. And to the glory of God, today we have over 20. We have new products as well.
Wow.
We have our teas, we have our granulas, then we have our date powder.
Okay.
So it's been an amazing journey, not easy, but like I said, what C4C did for me was to take me back to the roots. It was like starting afresh. I had to get everything right, from my accounting to my staff management to my customer service. I had to build a structure. I started afresh, trying to write down the visions, trying to create my business plan. I started doing my business canvas, and it helped me put everything I needed in place. So yes, I didn't have everything I needed available, But I had it at the back of my mind that this is what I need to make this business succeed. You know, a lot of people go into business without really knowing what it takes. So at the end of the day, when they get into, when they are faced with challenges, you see it's a problem. So apart from putting this whole idea on paper, having the knowledge of what I needed, I try to anticipate possible challenges so that when they occur, I just easily go over them instead of them taking me back. So building this structure helped me to know, okay, this is what I make from my sales. In fact, first of all, I had to start afresh to be sure that I'm even making profits. Because the first thing they taught us in C4C was, is your business a profitable one? So I had to go back to say, okay. And I discovered that, funny enough, in some of my products, I wasn't making profits. So I had to go back to the drawing board to make sure that I got everything right. So my costing, you know, some of these new entrepreneurs, when you're selling the business, you don't know you have to equate like the NEPA bills and all that. So these are things knowledges that I was equipped with during the fellowship program. So in building the structure, I knew the number of staffs I needed, I could afford at that particular time so that I don't run at a loss. So I knew the competence, what I needed to look out for in getting my staff. I knew what I needed as a person to also upgrade myself in terms of knowledge. So what I did was to try, because the whole spice thing, I didn't go for training. I wasn't trained on it. It was just a natural thing that came into me. So I needed to do some short courses to make sure I was on point. So when I'm talking to people, I'm not just talking from the point of passion, I'm talking from the point of experience and authority. So it's a different thing when somebody comes to tell you that, oh, use this, and then this happens. But I'm telling you what's going to happen, so I'm ready and equipped for every question you have for me. And I see that has even encouraged a lot of people to patronize me. Then part of the challenge was funding, which was something that Conversation for Change really helped me. From the grant I got, I was able to get the major equipment which I needed, which was a dehydrator. Because the dehydrator for my kind of business is very important. The difference between sun drying and dehydrating is sun drying reduces some of the nutrients of those ingredients I use. But when I dehydrate, it just eliminates the water content of the ingredients. So the funding aspect of the challenge. Then because I was a new business, a lot of people have this, oh, she's new, does she know what she's doing? Entering the market was a big deal. So the next thing I did was gifting. I give you my product for free. Go and try it out. If you
will convince you.
A trial will convince you. So I knew I was selling trust and not cash. So I took that bold step. So initially it wasn't so profitable because I had to use my money to get money. So by the time people started using it, I started getting return customers and referrals. So that was how the business grew. And then people started calling me. So even in the COVID period, of course, the catering business was almost locked down, you know. And then I thought to myself, okay, there's a pandemic. How do I come in? How do I help? How do I make money from the situation? And I said, okay, I have something I am offering, which is a healthier alternative to not the conventional spices you have in the market. I started researching, which is one of the major things I learned from C4C. You don't just go into things like that. You have to research. You have to read. You have to, go to the internet. What do you do with your YouTube? What do you do to Google? You have to get information and be updated. So I said, okay, this is a pandemic that, of course, attacks the immune system. What can I offer? And that was how
Great
I
question.
about,
Great question.
So I went back to the drawing board and I said, okay, we have to boost our immune system. And then I brought my flu tea, which is an immune booster. And I put it up on social media. Get this product for your natural way to just prevent the whole COVID thing. And funny enough, it sold. This COVID has been my best period.
Wow.
Not in terms of the pandemic, but in terms of business. I've made my maximum profits. I made sales of over 1.5 million in COVID alone from my spices and my teas. And then the COVID, because a lot of people were at home, they started paying more attention to their health. They started having time for social media to read, okay, what's new, what's healthy. So in the COVID, my vision expanded from creating healthy alternatives to conventional spices to creating healthy alternatives to everything that enters your mouth. So name it. We started with our teas, we started with our granola, and we went into date powder production, which is, of course, your natural alternative to your sugar. So even if you're diabetic, of course, you can use it for your cereal, you can use it for your tea. But the flu tea has been amazing. And we have also launched our calming tea. to help reduce the stress.
You didn't bring Flutie for us to see?
To help reduce the stress the COVID has brought. But a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people are going through emotional stress. All you just need is our community and you're good. And everything is 100% natural. No artificial additive, no preservatives. But even in the COVID period, another advantage we had were we started having distributors.
Okay.
We started having customers from different states. So what we did was look for the logistic companies that were allowed to move during the pandemic, and people started registering to be distributors. So it made it easily available for my clients, for my customers, to have it at their tips whenever they need it. So right now we are in over 12 states and it's growing. Even in Abuja, we have distributors in Abuja as it is, you know. So it's like my promise to my customers, I'm bringing this product closer to you. So that is when we launched into the distributorship thing. And it's been amazing and it's really growing. But the most important thing I learned is to sell trust and not trash. Because when you pay attention to quality above profit, the business or the product speaks for itself.
I love that. To sell trust and not trash. That should be a motto for every business in this country, indeed in the world. When you provide quality to your clients, to your customers, that is the sure road to sustainable success and probably true success.
Oh, yes.
I love that. I love that. Let's take a break, but stay with us because we still have some wonderful things to discuss with Ngozi. Welcome back. We've come almost to the end, but still a very, very interesting and stimulating part. Ngozi, let me ask you, can you describe a little bit more about your business? How big is it? How many people do you provide jobs for? You know, yeah, let's whet the appetite of people out there.
Currently, I have 2 permanent staffs and 3 contract staff. Then we have about 12 distributors. So I would say I'm also creating jobs for them because they are selling my products and making extra cash. And the beautiful thing is that most of those distributors have businesses that were really affected by the COVID. So the spice business for them is an alternative income for them. And since it's growing, in fact, I have some of them order for as much as 150 packs of these spices, like twice in a week or monthly and all that as the order comes. So it's been a really productive part for alternative for them, productive what I call it
Enterprise, their own productivity,
well.
yeah.
Yes. And apart from that, I do what I call unbranded wholesale. So you might be using some spice that tastes like mine. It's also mine, but it's not my brand. So I produce for
in
those
bulk.
who, yes, in bulk.
Okay.
So they
okay.
rebrand and repackage in their name.
My kitchen would like to hear that.
Okay, so I also encourage people that want to go into the spice production business, but you don't want to use my brand name, so I can produce for you and then you work with your brand. So it's like also expand. For me, it's increasing production and sale, of course.
Okay.
But, so don't be surprised when you try out some spice and you're like, oh, it tastes like some spices. It's actually some spices.
Yeah. Are there investment opportunities?
Oh yes, we have actually started. I have a product here. This is a spiced crayfish. I know a lot of people are like, which one is spiced crayfish again? You know, like I said, we're creating healthy alternatives to your conventional spices, but we're also being creative. Spiced crayfish basically is a combination of lots of protein you can cook with. And like this one, you can see it's cheap crayfish. This actually is a product for an investor. So when we invest in our business, what we do is we create a unique spice for you.
Okay.
So it's like you selling your product with our brand name because we are already known for what we do. So it's, I wouldn't say franchising basically, but for the investor, like this particular spice, the Chi stands for Chinyere. Chinyere, Dr. Chinyere, she's in the US. So, but she saw our product, she liked what we did and said, okay, she wants to buy into this. I said, okay, I'll create a unique spice for you. So all the account details for this spice are kept separately from the business account. So we keep tabs of what is happening. So she gives us a percentage and then gets her money back.
Wow, that's a great incentive.
Yeah.
That shows a real business acumen. Thank you so much. Yeah. And to all the potential investors out there, where you don't want to work, but you want to make money, think about Ngozi's business. Ngozi, thank you so much.
Thank you so
It's been great having you on the show. But can you, a last word to our viewers? What would you say to other young people out there?
Entrepreneurship is not an easy journey, but for me as a person, giving up doesn't exist. It does not exist in my dictionary. Whatever the challenge is, you can overcome it. But first, build a structure. Your brain is not for storage, it's for thinking. So when you think, it's important to write down, because what you don't write down, you're quick to forget. So if you have that business idea, write it down. Write the vision down. Write everything it will take to succeed. And then, as you go along at the journey, you can tick. Write everything you need. Do your business plan. It doesn't have to be a complicated document, but it's a guide for you, because every step you take, you can go back and see, what am I doing? Am I derailing from the plan? And with so much passion, you can achieve anything. Why I always ask people, what you do, are you passionate about it? Because when every other thing fails, passion becomes that drive that keeps you going. So keep at it. Giving up is not an excuse at all.
Absolutely. Giving up is not an option. Yeah. I don't think we could possibly end on a better note than that. Giving up should never be an option. Ngozi is wonderful, Ngozi is special, but there are many, many Ngozis out there. And so I echo her words. And if we truly create enough mass of young people who genuinely take on entrepreneurship and make a success of it, we will reduce the unemployment rates significantly in our country. Thank you all so much. We shall continue to bring to you wonderful young people like Ngozi. There are many more lined up for our show. There are many more out there. Please do write in if you would like to be part of the show and feature. We've had a great time. I hope you have had too. Once again, I'm Dr. Kechi Obuagu, your privileged guide on this journey. I thank you. Till the next time.
Signature TV, news in your pocket. Signature TV, news in your pocket.
New every morning on Signature TV, we open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem. There's no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left, in all the accounts of Anambra State, 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is They have some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Tigiti Agorum, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
Television, your very favorite weekend show here on Signature TV. Today is Sunday, of course, the 26th of July, 2026 is indeed the day the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Don't forget that we are live on SLTV channel 265 and, of course, on Free TV. I'm your host, Chigi Chiagaram, and of course, with me on today's show is Christopher Lele. Christopher, how are you? Good morning.
I'm so fine, and I'm very happy.
Obviously.
To, of course, start this beautiful day with you. It feels really good to do this with
Thank you so much. So we're going to have fun, right?
Of course.
Great.
It's going to be amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, don't go anywhere because today's show promises to be informative and educative. So, up next, newspaper headlines and review. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Well, if you're just joining us, don't forget that this is still New Day on Signature TV. Welcome to our newspaper headlines and review. First up, Sunday Tribune. And boldly written in front of the National Daily, a battle for 2027. Presidency Atiku in no-holds-barred war of words. With riders, your U.S. petition and abdication of homegrown political responsibility coming from the presidency. And of course, Atiku Abubakar fires back saying, you invoked China's standard. Let's apply it to $460,000 US for feature.
All right, the next story here on the same Sunday Tribune says bandits abduct local governor chair, kills aides policemen in Zamfara. We've got quite a number of riders here, but the rider says amnesty for bandits, terrorists, making communities withdraw support for military. And that's another organization alleging the IGP never ordered police officers to shoot illegal firearms holders. Police speaking there.
So I'm thinking that bandits are actually getting bolder by the day. What do you think? The other day was a relative to an official, and then today is a local government chair. What do you think is happening currently as they're getting bolder? They are, consistently and systematically shifting from ordinary citizens to, people in authority. Should we be worried? The other day was an army general. Should we be more worried, or what exactly is the cause of this escalation? Do you have any thoughts to that?
I just feel that the major challenge we're having here is that, of course, what you can't kill, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You hear people say that.
Yes.
The bandits in Nigeria, they've seen very well that nothing is happening to them. Even okay, just imagine the abduction of the Oyo kids, the students, the people that were supposedly associated to that crime. They were given life sentences, 3 of them. There was no death. People didn't feel that
death penalty,
that punishment. So they feel they can do stuff and get away with it, and somehow they get better.
I was in an environment. It was a program, and people were speaking, and someone said that Nigeria has succeeded in building very strong men and in turn weakening their institutions. So it seems as though there are no strong institutions or systems that will bring perpetrators to book and actually give them the needed sentence that, according to Lele, that the people will feel. But moving on, we just, for lack of a better way to put it, hope that things don't escalate more beyond what it has already become. So moving on, still on Sunday Tribune, and of course, okay, so before we continue, we might have to go on a short break. Please don't go anywhere. A New Day continues after now. Well, welcome back. Still on the newspaper headlines. Of course, we're still on Sunday Tribune. Moving on, varsity expels 2 students for engaging in gay practices on page 6. And above the mast, still on education, tributes pour in as Bamboshe, professor of linguistics, dies at 94. On the polity, premature campaigns. Who will punish these politicians flouting electoral law? Page 11. Still on politics, North has lost its value. It is declining. Ango Abdullahi Bugaji lament, page 4. And finally, on Sunday Tribune, man fakes his own funeral to escape jail for drunk driving. What do you have to say about that?
Isn't the faking?
Yes.
It just shows the extent that Nigerians can go to avoid.
But was he still drunk when he went to fake his death?
Oh well,
because if he was in his right, senses, he would have thought of the consequences.
Right, before
you have to move to another place, altogether.
Like you have to, everything about you is
have
dead.
To disappear. Yeah.
You have to start a fresh life. So if you had a family member, anything about you, they're all gone. Maybe he felt at some point he is going to maybe sneak into some family members and let them know that I'm alive. Or I had to fake it because I can't afford to go into jail, and God knows how long I'll stay there.
You'll be surprised. You will not check all those, boxes, because this is Nigeria. Hey, and we were talking about fake institutions a while ago. So maybe if eventually someone sees him, it will be the case of someone seeing a ghost. All right. So over to you.
All right. So by the way, it doesn't just have to be in Nigeria. I think, although it didn't really state here. But let's check the next story here. Okay. It says Sunday Punch. That's the next paper we're looking at this morning, Sunday Punch. 5 governors to adopt security outfits as state police. Away from that, PFIPC probe. Political leaders differ on Gbajabiamela's role. Another story here says voter registration. This is the major story on the Punch. Voter registration. INEC ends exercise today as opposition demands extension. Rather says Northwest tops new registration with 1.56 million. Kano, Lagos, Edo, Delta, Sokoto record high figures. Civil society cites 6-month gap to 2027 polls. Away from that, I've seen 5 families wiped out in Plateau attacks. I've seen 5 families wiped out in Plateau attacks. Barum youth leader speaking there. Drug makers finance costs jump 47% amid high interest rates. Rising insecurity fuels NYC redeployment requests. Bandits abduct Zamfara council chair, kill policemen, vigilantes. That's just about it on the Sunday Punch newspaper. But what got my attention here is INEC ends exercise today as opposition demands extension. INEC has been extending their deadlines over and over again just to accommodate all the parties, fulfilling all their righteousness, so to speak. And it's still surprising that till now some parties are still begging for extension. It's giving unpreparedness, and this is not good for politics. And I'm also impressed that we have the Northwest topping the registration, with 1.5 M. And then Kano, Lagos, Edo, Delta, Sokoto record high figures. These are impressive. It's giving me the impression that come 2027, nobody go agree for anybody. Like everybody seems to be sitting up, because I know that could our mumu done too much. Everybody wants to sit up and make sure that the right thing is done.
Absolutely, I do agree with you. However, you do know that because of the disenfranchisement that people felt in the last election, it would take a little more, a little more convincing, a little more coercing, well, for lack of a better word, to get people, to register and get their voters card. So if I'm just trying to not really play the devil's advocate, but if it's possible for an extension, it would be a welcome development, because there's a lot of education that needs to go into voter registration. In fact, into voter value chain, just to make sure that we get our people, registering for,
And another of my concern also is that, just like we have the likes of Peter Obi having people campaigning and supporting him on social media. Are we going to see the same people coming out to vote? Most of these people are not interested in voting.
I think we are saying the same thing.
Yes, what my mind is coming to is not about the figures of registrations that we have here and people turning up. Voter apathy, when it gets to that day, will people really come out to vote?
But the first step is to get your voter's card.
Of course.
Without your voter's card, you won't even
But
vote.
on elections day too, you see people playing football on the streets. when they are supposed to be at the centers, the units.
Exactly. That is why I say there's a lot of education that needs to go into people understanding the value chain when it comes to elections, the processes, and voting. It's not something that should just take a few months and we're okay with it, because there's a lot of disenfranchisement from the last election at least. So a lot of education, actively needs to go into, educating our people so that they can willingly go. And if you don't get your voter's card, you can't even vote. So if they don't have it, that is a sure banker for them to go out on the streets and play, soccer and things like that. But
this is where I think religious leaders will have to, sit up and do the needful, where we have orientation organizations that can, sensitize people, even the INEC itself, taking this as a bold step to start sensitizing people the need for, taking their voting, seriously, because it is their voice and it counts. Assuring the people that the experience they had 2023 will not be repeated in 2027. A whole lot has to be done. Nigeria is a religious, I would say Africa is a religious place, you understand, where people believe in their religious leaders. If as religious leaders, this time around, not enforcing a particular party on their congregation, but telling them the importance of voting, how it is their right, how they are doing it the right way. And that is the best way he can encourage them to be part of it, that whoever the leader is, will also come out to vote that day and expect them to do the same thing. I believe that way many people would sit up and would take it seriously.
I actually agree with you, but then it's not just about the religious leaders. It's not just about religion as an institution. I mean, it's the job of virtually every institution, every individual. Is a social obligation, right? Yes. But you have to be careful when it comes to religion, because there's a thin line there. You understand? There's a thin line there in that if you're not careful, people or religious leaders will be accused of dividing, the people, the electorate along, religious lines. Do you understand? Because they will say, oh, you're preaching a particular candidate to your people. So it's actually very dicey when the responsibility is left solely on the shoulders, of the religious leaders. So it's actually virtually the job of down to the family unit is actually our responsibility to educate our people, the people that are closest to you, the people who are within your area of influence. All right, so moving ahead, on Sunday Sun, on XIG, Mike Okiro's bombshell, how federal government's error birthed Boko Haram. With Wider's insurgency came after government scrapped my anti-terror squad in 2009. How I saved Abacha's son from OPC mob, and things federal government must do to curtail insecurity can be found on pages 20 and 21 of the Sunday Sun. Above the masts, I wanted medicine but found myself in financial services, coming from Esther Ugu, MD and Korea, page 3. Inspector General of Police never ordered police officers to shoot illegal firearm holders, coming from FPRO on page 26. And Ocean drivers clash. NURTW dares Adeleke for suspending union, sets up technical working committee, page 26. Still on Tinubu and Atiku. Atiku and I, Hajia Mohammed, ADC Deputy Chairman, why I dumped President for Waziri Adamawa, page 22. Still on Sunday Sun, dead on arrival, 301 bills gather dusts in Aso Rock. Nigerians chid lawmakers, executives cite lack of oversight and alignment. No big deal. It's part of checks and balances, according to Reps, page 18 and 19. And finally, on entertainment, I never dreamt of becoming a star, coming from Buki Wright, page 14. And I am particularly interested in the 301 bills gathering dust in Aso Rock. And I read that, and I actually had a flashback to the Oputa panel. You must have been very young when the Oputa panel thing happened, but there were recommendations. and those are still gathering dust, not implemented in any way. Nobody's talking about it, and this is actually a mirror of some of the maybe bills, whatever recommendations that never get to see the light of day, and we are busy pointing fingers. This arm of government is saying is lack of oversight. This other one is saying is checks and balances, which I don't really understand how it's a form of checks and balance. So what do you think about this 301 bills gathering dust? Yes, there are some that will just, for example, when their national anthem, identity, and a component of our identity was changed in a couple of days to weeks, but there are still some that are there that nobody is talking about.
Yeah, this reminds.
So it leaves you to wonder what exactly is going on. Why are some treated with so much urgency and others are just left to gather dust?
Yeah, remember the state police just a few days ago, where the minority group in the House of Reps walked out in protest because they feel it wasn't taken seriously. They're supposed to have like 2/3 of the members, and some of the members were not on seat. They were having voice notes for something as serious as a constitutional bill, and also according to them, it was not scrutinized clause by clause. Now, these were some of the challenges that made them to say, no, we can't just pass this bill. We have to be sure that we've gone through everything, be sure everything is okay. Now, same bill, because the president is interested in it. It didn't take long. They worked with his own part of his own the bill he came up with and dumped theirs, and same time okayed it without really going through the process, the constitutional process they're supposed to go through. So I think the major challenge we're having is that the people, the eyes of the people, the voice of the people, they would have heard from the people and come back to talk or interpret to the government, are not doing their job. What they do mostly is to just work to impress their principal. Whatever their principal is interested in, they take it seriously. The ones that he's not interested in, it doesn't see the light of the day, just like you earlier mentioned. So that's the major challenge we're experiencing here.
All right, so it goes to say that if a bill is executive, it flies, but if it's non-executive, then it sits together.
They'll be considering it.
I hope things change in the nearest future. All right, that's the March weekend. Oh, by the way, I think there is one more.
Yeah, we have the Sunday Vanguard.
Sunday Vanguard, and above the mast, Badagry Sokoto superhighway setback confusion on page 6 with riders. Outcry as over 300 houses, investments and others destroyed. We lost ancestors' graves, inheritance, businesses worth billions, according to residents, and federal government denies realignment claim. Still above the mast, Ango Abdullahi Bugaje, others blame North's decline on leadership failure, page 9. And on page 5, Abacha's last moments, don't tell lies about the dead. Al-Mustafa fires back at ex-DSS officer, page 5. An alleged Christian genocide, U.S. Congress move threatens food, health, jobs in Nigeria with riders, education, security too, after $3 billion in aid. Experts say this is a diplomatic red alert and says HIV, TB, malaria programs at risk. On bar and bench bombshell, about 15% of judiciary is clean. 2 women at the top should clear the rot, according to senator. On fake agency inside the blame game in Abuja, page 14. Reps inquiry, everyone knew something for 7 months, but nobody did anything. On health, Lassa fever death toll hits 229 as fresh infections rise, page 9. And did the federal government pay 17.5 trillion naira in subsidy despite removal, page 8. And finally, on entertainment, DECA on mental health online, page 18. Lele, what do you think of our news headlines on.
Yeah, my major
on Sunday
concern.
Vanguard.
Yeah, major concern is the alleged Christian genocide. U.S. Congress's move threatens food, health, jobs in Nigeria, and say HIV, TB, malaria programs at risk. We know the influence the U.S. have on this country, and financially, I mean, their support, the aid they've been supplying Nigeria for some time now. Even just recently, you have one of the reps over there saying that they're not just going to cut 50%, but they should cut 100% of the aid that they bring to Africa, to Nigeria. And this is really disturbing because just a few days ago, from the presidency, they said Donald Trump was hailing them, according to them, based on the supposed letter from the White House. It was hailing the Tinubu's government for the way it handled security and the likes, and supporting him that he's ready and available to come through should they need any support so far. And now we are getting this. It seems like it's up and down. One mouth is saying this, another mouth is saying this other thing. Just yesterday or thereabout, Ted Cruz, who is also a senator in the U.S., also complained about some of the irregularities, the insecurity challenges going on in Nigeria and the Christian genocide. And these people don't just make statements. These people, they investigate, they find out, they have evidences that they work with before they come out to make statements. And if things like this are happening, and we in Nigeria, our government is still giving us the impression that we are fine, then there is fire on the mountain, because it's a lot for us to work with at this point.
Absolutely, but from where I'm standing, I do really hope that the experts are actually giving the right recommendations, because if US is fighting against Christian genocide and then threatening health and jobs and food, wouldn't it still affect the Christians living in Nigeria adversely?
Of course it would.
So how does it make sense that the US wants to end the genocide on Christians in Nigeria, and whatever it is that they are bringing to the table is something that will threaten food health? It seems as though there's propaganda somewhere, but we hope things unfold, clearer as we go by. And then I think we've come to the end of our conversation, except you have something else you want to talk about.
No, it's fine.
Thank you so much for joining us. Don't go anywhere. New Day continues after now with very interesting content and interviews. Stay with us.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Welcome back. Well, on the morning of June 28, 2026, a 56-year-old lady was walking to church on a Sunday morning when she was accosted by men of the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement in Texas, US. She was eventually arrested and kept in custody for some hours. It took the intervention of some Congress women and, of course, others, especially Senator De La Cruz, to get her out of the detention. Well, it turns out that this 56-year-old woman is a Nigerian, a nun who has served as, of course, a nun and a nurse in the United States of America. And she was indeed concerned, because if she eventually gave a press release saying that it wasn't just about her, but others who have actually checked all immigration requirements, who are still under the clutches of the ICE. It leads us to wonder the extent, the anti-immigration law of Donald Trump is willing to go to, secure their borders. Well, we'll have a clip to play for you so that you can get the statements of this lady, this nun, Sister Letitia Iwaja by name, her lawyers, and other parishioners. This is what they had to say.
And thank you so much, everybody, for coming here, all of you all, and thank you also for coming and supporting Sister Leti. So we're grateful to obviously all of you all, our faith leaders and elected officials, and the many community members who have stood by Sister Leti during this difficult time. So before we begin, I think I've talked to most of you all, but I've wanted to let you all know that she'll be delivering a prepared statement. Sister Norma will also be helping out with the prepared statement in Spanish. But Sister Leti will not be taking any questions today, and we respectfully ask that everyone honor that request. Also, following Sister Leti's remarks, Sister Norma will speak about Sister Leti's pastoral ministry, her years of service, and the impact she's had on our community throughout these years. And then I will then provide an update regarding the legal status of Sister Leti's case and her upcoming ICE reporting appointment, the check-in next week. And then at the conclusion of the remarks, I'll be available to answer any questions regarding the legal aspects of the case, and however it is that you all want to do that, we can move forward with that. And so now it's my honor to introduce Sister Leti for her to give her remarks.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It's my pleasure to speak after all these weeks, days of stress, of anxiety, of fear. But according to the scriptures, do not be afraid, because I am with you always. So it happened on June 28th. I was walking to Mass, as I do every Sunday, and of course every day, when I was stopped by the ICE just here at the school. Honestly, in that moment, I did not understand what was going on or what was happening to me, because I was busy reflecting on the readings of the Mass that very day. I was very much afraid, with cold sweat. I can just hear my heart very tachycardic. I have been in this community more than a decade. I have cared for the sick as a nurse in various hospitals. I did not expect on an ordinary Sunday morning, when people should be ready to go to Mass to worship the Lord. On the street here, just here in front of the school, I have walked here, passed by this same road countless number of times. It was a Sunday, and more than anything else, I was scheduled as Eucharistic minister at 8:45 a.m. Working again, thinking about that moment, meditating on the readings of the day as I was working, as I always do. Of course, as a Eucharistic minister, I was preparing myself to deliver or to give the Lord to my fellow community. I have not missed Mass, and as we all know, Sunday Mass is obligatory. And we have to attend Mass every day if you can, and Sunday is mandatory. And it's for me a non not to go to Mass on Sunday, not to receive communion. It was very, very heartbreaking for me. I was told, even when I told him, can I go to Mass? Can I just attend Mass? Can I receive communion? And the answer was no. So I did not do anything else. When I have two men armed, I'm just a small woman, a nun, armless, just with my rosary, my key, and my phone. I will not pretend it did hurt, and it's still hurting me up to today. In the days since, I have prayed a great deal, not only for myself, but about the fear I felt that morning and up to this moment. It means I carry a lot of burden in me. That same very day, quietly, we have so many people in that same situation like me that are not, no cameras or no attention. They are still there languishing in the same situation. I am not only the only one. There are many others in this same situation. People who have been given some form of protection under our laws, who have followed every rule asked of them, and who still live with uncertainty about where they might be sent and whether anyone will tell them before it happens. I did not say this just out of anger. I said it because of my faith and the faith that teaches me not to be silent, because silence or afraid is not going to solve any problem. I'm speaking this out of peace and honesty in my heart. I'm grateful of this community and all of you that came around me on that fateful day, on that dark moment, June 28th. But gratitude does not mean I can stay quiet about what happened to me or about what is still happening to others, and at the moment, what I am still feeling. What I am asking is just simple. Before anyone is being taken into custody or being taken anywhere from home, from their parishes, from their places of work, or even walking on the streets, just to give them the chance, give them the opportunity so that they can be heard. It is not just a simple request. It's just, I believe, every person in this situation like me deserves to be heard, deserves to be listened to, deserves to be given attention and opportunity, and to give them another chance to say what they have. Thank you.
And thank you. Sister Norma is going to speak in Spanish now based on Sister Letty's statement, but I don't think we can tell that Sister Letty's a nurse because what did you say, tachycardic? I don't think most people would say that. So thank you for sharing that as well. So Sister Norma, if you could please.
Yes. El 28 de junio caminaba hacia misa como hago todos los domingos cuando agentes de ICE me detuvieron. En ese momento No entendía lo que me estaba pasando. Sentía miedo. He vivido en esta comunidad durante muchos años. He cuidado a los enfermos como enfermera. No esperaba que en una mañana de domingo cualquiera y en una calle por la cual he caminado muchas veces fuera puesta bajo custodia. Era domingo y más que nada quería recibir la comunión. No he fallado a ello en 34 años. Pregunté si podía ver a un ministro de la Eucaristía. Me dijeron que no. No voy a fingir que eso me dolió mucho. Y todavía me duele. En los días desde entonces he estado rezando mucho, no solo por mí, sino también por el miedo que sentí aquella mañana y por la que significa que tantas personas carguen con ese mismo miedo, en silencio, sin cámaras y sin atención. No soy la única. Hay muchas otras personas en situación como la mía. Personas que han recibido alguna forma de protección bajo nuestras leyes, que han cumplido y con todas las normas que se les exigen y que aún así viven en la incertidumbre sobre a dónde podrían ser enviadas y si alguien les avisará antes de que eso suceda. No digo esto por enojo, lo digo porque creo, tal como me enseña mi fe, que guardar silencio no es lo mismo que estar en paz y que hablar con honestidad y no es lo mismo que ser desagradecida. Siento gratitud por esta comunidad, por mi parroquia y por todos los que acudieron en mi ayuda el 28 de junio. Pero la gratitud no significa que deba callar sobre lo que me sucedió, ni sobre lo que sigue ocurriendo a otras personas. Lo que pido es sencillo. Antes de que alguien sea apartado de su hogar, de su parroquia o de su familia, se le debe informar el motivo y darle una oportunidad real de ser escuchado. No es una petición especial, es lo que creo que merece toda persona que se encuentre en una situación como la mía.
Thank you very much, Sister Norma. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read my prepared statement, and then I'll do it in English and Spanish. I'll try to be quick, and then I'll be ready to answer any questions that you all may have. Thank you again, Father Greg, and all of this community for being here and allowing us to be here. And as you all know, I represent Sister Leti. It's my honor to represent her, and I'm issuing this statement to clarify the facts of her immigration case amid the interest that following her June 28th detention by ICE. So in 2019, an immigration judge denied Sister Leti's application for asylum, but in that same decision, the judge granted her protection from removal to Nigeria under the United Nations Convention Against Torture, finding that she had met the high legal standard required to show it was more likely than not that she would face torture if returned there. The protection legally bars the United States government from deporting her to Nigeria. Because her asylum claim was denied, Sister Leti remains, as a technical matter, under a final order of removal. Since that 2019 decision, she has done everything the law has asked of her. She holds a valid employment authorization document, which is a work permit. She has complied fully with every condition of the protection she was granted, and she has never missed any type of required appointment with immigration. ICE, in detaining her, was now attempting to remove Sister Leti, not to Nigeria, but to a third country, and that's been happening across the country. This is a separate legal pathway from the one her protection forecloses, and it is currently the subject of active litigation in federal courts nationwide. Whether someone in Sister Leti's position who has complied with every condition of a lawful protection is entitled to notice and a meaningful opportunity to contest a proposed third country removal before she is taken into custody and removed. We are grateful for all of the support through that the community leaders, parishioners, and many people throughout the country have shown to Sister Letty. We appreciate that many have expressed a deep desire to accompany her during this time, especially in a peaceful way at her check-in on the 28th, which is next week. At present, it is our hope that the check-in on the 28th will be resolved and unnecessary. But finally, we are asking that she not be detained and that no ankle monitor be placed on a person who has broken no rule, posed no danger, and given this country a decade of nursing and a lifetime of ministry. Sister Letty, as I said, has a scheduled check-in with ICE on July 28th. We hope it will not be necessary for her community to gather in her support that day. However, we are prepared to do so if it is. With that, I will read the statement in Spanish, and then I'll open it up for questions. Como dije anteriormente, es un honor representar a la hermana Leticia, Sister Letty, y emito esta declaración para aclarar los hechos de su caso migratorio, dado el interés público surgido tras su detención por parte de ICE el 28 de junio. En el 2019, un juez de inmigración negó la solicitud de asilo de la hermana Letty. Sin embargo, en esa misma decisión, el juez le concedió protección contra la expulsión a Nigeria en virtud de la Convención de las Naciones Unidas contra la tortura, al determinar que ella había cumplido con el riguroso criterio legal necesario para demostrar que era más probable que no que sufriera tortura si fuera devuelta a dicho país. Dicha protección impide legalmente que el gobierno de los Estados Unidos la deporte a Nigeria. Debido a que su solicitud de asilo fue negada, la hermana Letty permanece técnicamente bajo una orden final de expulsión. Desde aquella decisión del 2019, ella ha cumplido con todo lo que la ley le ha exigido. Posee un documento de autorización de empleo válido, que es el permiso de trabajo. Ha cumplido plenamente con todas las condiciones de la protección que se le otorgó y nunca ha faltado a una cita de control migratorio. Actualmente, por detenerla, ICE intenta expulsar a la hermana Letty, no a Nigeria, sino a un tercer país. Esta es una vía legal distinta a la que impide la protección que ella posee y es objeto de litigio activo en tribunales federales de todo el país. Se debate si una persona en la situación de la hermana Letty, que ha cumplido con todas las condiciones de una concesión legal de protección, tiene derecho a recibir notificación y a disponer de una oportunidad real para impugnar la propuesta de expulsión a un tercer país antes de ser detenida y expulsada. Agradecemos, claro, otra vez a todo el apoyo que los líderes comunitarios, los feligreses y muchas personas de todo el país han brindado a la hermana Letty. Valoramos que muchos hayan expresado un profundo deseo de acompañarla durante este tiempo, especialmente de manera pacífica durante su cita con migración el día 28 de julio. Por ahora esperamos que la cita del 28 se resuelva favorablemente y no llegue a ser necesaria. Por último, también solicitamos que no se le coloque un monitor de tobillo a una mujer que no ha infringido ninguna norma ni ha representado peligro alguno y que ha dedicado una década de su vida a la enfermería y toda una vida al ministerio en este país y en nuestra comunidad. La hermana Leti tiene programada una cita la semana que entra, el 28 de julio. Esperemos que no sea necesario que su comunidad se reúna para apoyarla ese día. Sin embargo, estamos preparados para hacerlo si fuera necesario. Okay, thank you very much. Excuse me? Yes, and Sister Norma is now going to give some comments as well about Sister Letty's pastoral ministry.
Muchas gracias. Thank you, everybody. I think that it's very important that we acknowledge the importance of Sister Letty's presence with us in our community. We are very grateful for her presence, especially here in this community of Our Lady of Sorrows, because her presence has shown the importance of what a religious woman gives to our community and the care and love and attention that she provides, that everybody here, especially in Our Lady of Sorrows, loves her because of how present she has been, the joy she has been to all of us, and her not only in the church but also in the hospitals, because she has also been very active in her own as a nurse and in serving the community with people who are ill and being present to them for many years, right, Leticia?
Yeah.
Yes, and so for her, I think that being here for her and showing our support and love and knowing that she's not alone, that we love her and that we need her. We believe that she should be given that opportunity to continue to be present among us, because all she has done is love and care. And so it hurts a lot to see her hurting, you know? And so I think that I truly appreciate the support of the community and all of us in showing her that she's not alone and that we love her and that we're very happy to have her for so long. And we truly hope that she's granted permission to continue to be with us. Thank you.
Can you say that in Spanish?
Sí, Sister Leticia ha sido una hermana religiosa por muchísimos años en nuestra comunidad y estamos muy contentos de tenerla con nosotros, porque su presencia ha sido una presencia de amor y de servicio al pueblo aquí entre nosotros, especialmente en esta parroquia que ella pertenece, a Nuestra Señora de Dolores, y mucha gente, todos aquí la quieren muchísimo porque se ha entregado, está presente y ha dado mucha alegría y amor y cuidados a todos, y la verdad que es no solamente como religiosa en la parroquia, en la comunidad, pero también en su propio trabajo en el hospital como enfermera, ha servido a atender a la gente que está enferma y con cuidados necesarios. Tiene una presencia de cuidado y atención al que está enfermo, que está muy dedicada a hacer su trabajo en el hospital como enfermera. Pero algo que fue muy importante, porque dolió mucho verla a ella sufrir, y el hecho de que podemos demostrarle a ella que no está sola, que la queremos mucho y que la acompañamos en estos tiempos difíciles, que definitivamente es muy importante de que podamos ayudarla a que ella continúe siendo esa presencia de amor, de alegría aquí en nuestra comunidad. Muchas gracias.
Okay, with that, I will take any questions. If you all prefer like this, if you all rather stand and do it closer, whatever it is you all want to do. So if you have questions, feel free to ask.
I think a lot of us would probably want one-on-ones, but I do have a question if you don't mind answering for us all.
Sure.
What was Sister Letty told when she was being arrested by ICE about what was happening to her? I'm sure she must have had.
Yeah, I don't think there was a lot of explanation as to what was going on. And so she was very confused during that time, as many people are when they're not, as she mentioned, given notice of what is happening. People here who have been granted this type of relief have generally for many years been under the impression that they are okay so long as they comply. And it has been like that for many years. And so it is very confusing, not only for her, but for many other people that I've talked to as to what is going on. And frankly, it's hard to comprehend because of the way it's happening without really being informed of any reasoning.
The sister mentioned that she was reflecting on reading as she was walking to church. I'm sure it must be a long time to maybe recall it, but if she does remember what she was reading.
What was the reading that you
I was just suddenly reading.
like the readings from Sunday Mass
Oh, okay, I could probably look at it.
on the days?
Thank you.
So I was wondering what you could tell us about Sister Letty's health needs. I know that there was some concern about whether she was receiving the care she needed while in detention.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of information about that. I can ask her and then get back to you on that. Yeah.
How would having an ankle monitor affect mobility, especially as not just as a member of the parish, but also as a member of the community?
Right. So ankle monitors are extremely restrictive and burdensome on members of our community who there's absolutely no reason for them to be monitored. When people are not a danger to the community, they're not a flight risk, there's absolutely no necessity. In her particular case is, I think the circumstances here are sort of, to me even, I mean, I wish I had a better word, but ridiculous, that we're having to talk about this type of situation as somebody who ministers to people and goes and works in a hospital and is around the community so often. So it's extremely restrictive and burdensome.
Can you tell us anything about what the process that you all went through to have her released that day?
So I don't have a lot of information about that. I came in, although I was in touch with members of the community, I came in a little later. What I do know is that the public support, the people gathering behind Sister Letty, Sister Norma, this church, and the politicians, the elected officials that did everything that they could to make sure that this travesty did not continue that day, that all played a huge role in allowing her to be released.
Sorry, what are the possible outcomes when she reports to ICE next week?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that can happen. Well, one, what we're asking for is that we don't have to report. Obviously, she's here in our community, and she's been a member of our community for a long time. If she does report, which we will comply with whatever requirement immigration has of her, is one, as mentioned, they could place an ankle monitor, which is very common, which has been occurring throughout this country. There is a possibility of detention, which is very common, as we've seen. But although possibility, I don't think it's a probability, and I hope it wouldn't be. And those are the main outcomes. It could also be that she just goes and signs a document and says, yes, I'm here and I'm complying. And that's really up to ICE.
I was just wondering, what are some of the restrictions that she's facing now, and are they different from the ones she had before this happened?
No, we're waiting to see, right? And that would happen if she is restricted in any way by any kind of device that the government issues. But as of now, she maintains her status. Everything is the way it has been for years, where she is gainfully employed and able to serve our community the way she has been serving it.
Has the Pope taken any special interest in this situation?
I don't have any information about that. Yeah.
This is a question, sorry, again, maybe more for Sister Norma, but there have been tensions growing between this administration and Pope, specifically around immigration. Do you feel that this case may be a result of those tensions or just something separate?
I don't believe it's a result of anything specific other than it was a process that they're implementing and moving forward with everybody in this country. I think that the Pope's position into what's happening in the United States is very clearly, he's defending humanity and people and the proper way of proceeding to care for them. And so that's no different from Sister Letty to anybody else in this country.
Sister Norma, are there others within the diocese that might be in the similar situation as Sister Norma?
I believe that similar to her case, no, but people who are being detained, going to church or going to taking their kids to Catholic school, that has been brought to my attention by several people that have says, I find myself in the same situation and would like to see how you can help us, And so I see that's happening a lot. And people that really are carrying on their regular routine of living their lives, and they get stopped and picked up, and maybe the mom is picked up and put in detention. And so it's unfortunate that this is happening to many of our good families that are actually just carrying on a regular life in our communities, and this is happening to them.
Okay. Thank you all very much. Thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you so much, sister. You did great.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
We are local.
International communities why the main market is in chaos. People
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye. We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
All right, you just watched the press conference where the nun talked about her experience with ICE, and we're going to have a conversation on that. But before we do that, let's just have a background idea of what ICE really is about. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, enforces federal laws governing border control, customs, trade, and immigration inside the U.S. The question now is, are they deviating from fundamental functions? Critics argue that sweeping interior interests and targeting non-citizens without serious criminal records stray from the regional post 911 mandate to prioritize high-threat national security risks. Just recently, a wave of widespread anti-ICE protests erupted across the United States following the recent fatal shooting of an immigrant by a federal agent. activists, local communities, and civil rights groups have launched a national day of action, resulting in demonstrations, sit-ins, and clashes with law enforcement in several major cities. The core demands remain total dissolution of ICE or strict institutional overhauls, pressure on commercial banks to defund private corporate detention centers, and enhanced accountability, which is the immediate investigations and retraining following recent operational fatalities. And this is where I'll leave it for Dr. Chigi to introduce our guests as we commence the conversation this morning.
Thank you very much, Lele. And of course, joining us to make sense of all these is Vin Martin Obiora, ILO Signature TV's international correspondent and public affairs analyst. Good morning, Vin Martin, and thank you for joining us on the show.
Yeah, good morning,
Good
Dr.
morning.
Chigi. Good morning,
Thank
Lele.
you. Good morning. Now, let's just dive into the conversation. It's we've had cases, even in the 19th century in the US, where there have been strict immigration, laws and policies targeted at some ethnicities, Asian, Chinese, and restricting them from, even Mexicans, right, from coming into America, United States. So from your own perspective, what makes this administration's immigration issue different from what other administrations have actually done before now?
I think what makes it different, one, is that anti-immigration, or if you want to refer to them, anti-illegal immigration, is a key plank of the Trump agenda. So it's like, if you look back during the campaigns, it was a major thing. Take out all the immigrants. They are the ones causing problems. They are rapists. They are criminals. So I think it's this focus on illegal immigration and the style, the approach, the way they have gone about it. I think that's what is different. Before Trump came to power, of course, even the Obama administration had taken out a lot of people, but in what some people have said, in a legal manner, in a human-faced manner. But you find out that in the first Trump administration, remember about the wall, which it might interest you to know is still ongoing.
Yeah, the Mexican.
Yeah, and then they have thrown away a lot of safeguards for these immigrants. They have now also gone even into taking legal. What I mean by legal now, people already legal protected by the law that we are given permission to come. People from Afghanistan, people from some African countries, people from Asia. There are different status that people have to be able to live, either work, live, reside, whichever way in America. Some of them have been tampered with since Trump came. Mm-hmm. So I think that is the approach, and the way they have gone about it. That is what is different. Mm. America has always taken illegal people out, but none has ever happened like it has happened now. The magnitude of it, the sheer numbers of people being taken away, the way they are being taken away. People are, we just watched that press conference, which is trending right now, of a Nigerian nun who lives in the United States. She has a legal status, and there she is going to church in the morning, and she's arrested, handcuffed, and being guarded by 2 armed men. That was where she was saying something like, I'm a small person.
And she almost had tachycardia. All right, so just as a follow-up, just to get a little bit of context, there is always a process to everything. Mm-hmm. Now, if someone is caught as an illegal, migrant, what is the value chain for taking that person outside or deporting that outside of the US or deporting that person. There must be a process. So what is this value chain? Because I did hear when during the course of the press conference, the man was saying they were trying to deport her to an African country that wasn't even Nigeria. So what is the value chain? What is the normal process of deportation?
Well, what used to be was that if you were apprehended, if you were illegally in the country, there are processes. Some are taken to court, to get a court approval. Well, if your cup was full, if they had done all that before and maybe declared you wanted and you've been hiding, sometimes they catch you and then they take you out. But there are a lot of people, they need to go through some processes, through some documentation for that to happen. But a lot of it is not happening anymore. People are...
Because the handcuffs, were they really necessary?
I don't know. But because they're seeing it as a very serious crime now. Okay, you remember the guy that was taking the son to school? I mean, that was a very huge one. And then the guy was arrested, handcuffed, and the boy was left in the cold all by himself. Mothers have been arrested either in a supermarket with their children, and I mean, I think it's the style of what is going on that's actually okay. What brought about this recent demonstrations?
Outrage.
Is the
sheer brutality.
Some of those arrests that ended up in deaths, in fatalities.
Yes.
A guy was driving his bus, and can you imagine? At the end of the day, he was not actually the person they were looking for, and he was killed. The second guy that was also killed, mistaken identity. So these things happen because I think they are not going through the normal processes. There's a lot of brigandage in the way they do it. Some people are in America as what they call them now. When you leave your country and you
immigrants.
No, they're not immigrants. There's a status. It just escaped, my mind. Some people are there for just to run away from
refugees.
As refugees.
Okay.
But nobody is thinking about that. When America was leaving Afghanistan, you remember they left in a hurry. If you remember those things and people trying to jump into moving planes and all that. A good number of them were taken out because they were working for the US government. Some were even spies, some, and they were taken out. And they are being threatened that they're going to be taken back to the same Afghanistan, where if they get there, some of them will be executed, So I think that there are processes, but today those processes are not being respected, and a lot of people are suffering for it. We have a lot of people, but truth be told, there has been a massive reduction in people trying to enter America illegally. All those pictures and videos you saw just before Biden left office, where thousands and thousands of people were besieging the boundaries of America, the borders of America. You don't see them anymore. So, for some people, for some Trump supporters, that is a lot of achievement. That is a win. But for a lot of others, the way it is, all over America now, almost in all cities, as at yesterday, there were a lot of demonstrations. A lot of people see it as a lot of people's rights have been infringed. They use a lot of foul language when they talk about ICE, and the way a lot of cities have tried to resist. State governments, mayoral governments have tried to resist ICE invasion of their cities. And this is creating a lot of tension in the United States.
Okay, I like the fact that you mentioned the rights of these citizens being violated. How would say, where is the legal boundary? Where does it lie between the federal enforcement agency, that's the ICE, and
well,
that
for
of the
immigration,
residents?
for immigration is the federal government.
How about the rights? Because even at the press conference, you also hear the non saying there are people that they are within their rights. They've not faulted.
Yes, I have said that there's been a lot of breach of even the Constitution. You remember the guy that was picked up and sent to, is it El Salvador, if you remember? And then, even before he was taken out of the United States, there had been a court ruling that he should not be taken out. And they took him out. It took several months of legal battles for that guy to be returned to the United States. And if you follow that story, as soon as he returned, they preferred new charges against him and took him in. So there's been a lot of breach. There's been a lot of breach, and ICE is not apologetic about it. As far as they're concerned, they are doing their job. If you are here illegally, according to the law, remember that President Trump has signed a lot of executive orders in that direction. And some of these executive orders become law. So as far as the ICE people are concerned, they are doing their job. And anybody saying they shouldn't do it the way they are doing it probably is breaking the law. I remember some months ago, a senator was actually handcuffed, you know, and pushed to the ground because of demonstrations. And I mean, you remember the judge that was almost going to prison because she had protected an immigrant in her court and allowed that immigrant leave through another door in her office. I think the only reason she didn't go to jail was because she was a judge, and she had to pay, I think, can't remember how many thousands of dollars
in fine.
She paid in fine. So it's really a big issue, and America is so divided, you know, and that's why you see what you see.
So can we look at corruption and interference from the government? I want to believe that ICE should be an independent body that is managing this situation, and the interest Donald Trump has in this very angle, this sector of the country, you can see the force that the people are feeling as well.
They cannot be an independent body. It's just like saying that the Nigeria police is an independent body. It is run by the executive.
The influence, the decisions.
Ideally, they are supposed to be processes like Chigi had said or had asked, and I had tried to explain. But some of those things are not being done. So as far as ICE is concerned, they're doing their job. Unfortunately, you know, and that's why you see some cities saying, no, don't come here. You are creating issues for us here. We were at peace. We could get these people. We don't need to do it so in a very militant way. There are other ways we could do it, but the federal government does not agree. So ICE cannot be an independent body. It is an agency the government uses to implement its policies. They're under what they call that ministry, Homeland Security, you know, which is run by a secretary appointed by the President of the United States. So they are not that independent. They are answerable. Somebody says this is the way you're supposed to do it, that these laws have been made, you need to ensure that they're enforced. So a lot of Americans, a good number of Americans disagree with the way things are happening as it concerns immigration. A good number of them also understand that there are a lot of illegal immigrants, people that are not supposed to be there. But they are saying maybe use better tactics in taking them out than what is happening now.
All right, so I want to pick up from where you left off in your earlier submission, where you said Americans are divided, and my question would be, divided along what lines? And secondly, do you think that the precedents that America is setting as some continental consequences as regards what's happening also in South Africa, where people are saying you're blacks, you need to go back, you're Nigerian, you're Zimbabwean, whatever, you need to go back. You think there's a connection somewhere, what's happening in America, kind of indirectly or directly, is transpiring in what's happening in South Africa that has culminated into xenophobia?
Okay, so let's start with
Division in America.
division. Those that want the way it is being done and those that don't want the way it's being done. Because a lot of people voted for Trump. And when he was talking about dealing with the immigration crisis, you know that kind of feeling we have in Nigeria, it is not my portion. So a lot of Americans thought it was not their portion.
Until it became their portion.
And it became their portion. So a lot of those that had voted for Trump, a lot of those that have supported him, had got the unfortunate end of the stick in this. So it is no longer about Republicans and Democrats. It is not about those that are feeling it. Some who are, extremist supporters of Trump are also experiencing some of these things. And his argument is that, look, it wasn't like I was targeting anybody. It's not that you voted for me or you didn't vote for me. I'm trying to do the right thing. And we're trying to take out as many illegal people as can be taken out. I also support that people, if you want to come to Nigeria, come through the legal means. If you want to go to Libya, if you want to go to China, if you want to go to it's not proper for people to just take the back road because it's illegal for you to do
and
that.
it has a lot of economic consequences.
It has
too.
consequences. But you know that there's a crisis in today's world, and this happens from time to time in history, where you see a lot of migration. A lot of times is because of the hardship. It could be disease that's making people leave. But today, it's hardship that's making a lot of... can you imagine when Nigerians want to trek from Nigeria to Europe? Have you ever imagined that desperation?
Yeah. Through the
and
desert.
Every day you see video of people that were sunstruck.
Yeah.
People that died out of thirst,
dehydration.
And dehydration and all that. You see all those videos and somebody gets up. Have you asked yourself what kind of desperation will make somebody enter a plane's, what's it called?
Cockpit. No, not the cockpit. The engine.
So things are so bad. I watched, and I can't forget that video. It was somewhere in the border of America and Mexico. And there was this woman, they used it either in one of these international stations, I don't know. You see that woman throwing herself on the ground. They were almost crossing the barrier. And the woman was ready to die instead of going back. So this happens once in a while. Remember, if you go back to the Industrial Revolution and all that, there are times in history when a lot of circumstances make it possible for people to want to move from one side of the world to another side of the world. Did you think about when people started leaving the Americas, United Kingdom, Europe, to go and found the new world in America?
Yeah.
So we are in that kind of circumstance. Then when you talk about how does it resonate with what is happening in a place like South Africa, maybe the circumstances are not the same. But it goes back to those hardships, when economies are not able to sustain the owners of the land and the visitors to the land. Then you start asking questions, do we really have to be this magnanimous to these visitors? Because things are not enough anymore. So everybody's scrounging to survive. So the South Africans, if the Nigerians didn't own all the shops and we own them, will be doing better. So get them out. But what a lot of people had expected was that the government should have stepped in to make sure that whoever, whether European, whether African, whether Asian, who was in South Africa, to find out whether they were legally supposed to be in South Africa. If you're legally supposed to be in South Africa, the government should protect you, no matter the violence. Because what is the job of a government? Secure life and property of everybody. Then when you have secured it, then you come and say, you are not supposed to be here. And the law takes its course. So that's the difference. What is happening in South Africa is it's a disaster, especially the role that the government has played. You can't just sit by and watch the citizens of another country being murdered on the streets. Their property, their livelihoods being destroyed, and the government is sitting on the fence. I'm surprised that a lot of African countries have not asked South Africa to, to withdraw their ambassadors, because the government is hand in gloves with these criminals. That's what they are. And now they are now putting the horse.
The cart before the horse.
They are now putting the cart
before the horse.
Before the horse or after the horse. I don't know how to describe it. Now they've started talking to governments. Why are you talking to governments? This was what you should have done as soon as this crisis was brewing, because it was brewing for a long time. And everybody was saying that this was what it was going to come to. How about if all African countries start killing South Africans in their countries and destroying their business? So, well, you may have a point. You may have been encouraged by what is happening in America. And America has no more moral justification to tell them stop.
Yeah.
Because they're doing the same thing in their own way.
Well, let's talk Nigerian government for a bit now. We're going back to Sister Letitia's case. What role do you think the Nigerian government should play, seeing that her own is out there legally permitted to be in America, yet being harassed? Because I hear she's not yet out of the woods yet. She has an appearing on the 28th of this month. What do you think the Nigerian government should do, or the role they should play? You did talk about, withdrawing ambassadors and stuff like that. Well, there should be something that the Nigerian government should do, as regards our case. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think our diplomatic staff in the United States should get in touch and monitor what is happening. I think that she has a lawyer. She belongs to a congregation. She is answerable to a bishop or some kind of church hierarchy out there. And I think they are doing the right thing. And then her matter has gone, viral, that even lawmakers are also involved. But that also does not stop our government from getting involved and making sure that her rights are not breached, and that she gets fair hearing and fair treatment, and that the justice must be transparent in what happens around Sister Letitia, who is one of our daughters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's going well so far, but our government should keep an eye and be sure that she's well taken care of.
So let's go back to ICE. Do you think the core fundamental functions of this body has been tampered with? And also, what do you think are the impacts of different administrations?
Well, President Trump is a different kind of president, and he does his own things in a different way. It's just like what is happening between the US and Iran. Trump is a media president. He lives in the media. And I've said in a different, I think it was Radio Nigeria, in one of my comments on their program, I did say that diplomacy is not conducted on television. So when there's a peace process between Iran and the USA, the negotiations are not done on TV. They're not done on TV. So you find out people are negotiating. They've not even come up with an outcome or whatever. In the evening, Trump starts briefing the whole world that those people, oh, they've agreed. They have done this one. They have done, and then they come back an hour later. We've not gotten there. So I'm just trying to say that this is a different kind of president who has his own ways of, doing things. He's using ICE the way he thinks is the best way. As far as President Trump is concerned, he's doing the right thing. And he has also approached the courts to see whether he can even push it even further. And that's why you hear once in a while they say, oh, he lost this case, he won this one and that one. So he's doing his things differently. Is it legal? A lot of people have challenged him in court over the processes, and some of them are ongoing. Some judgments have been given, some in his favor, some in other people's favor. I'm sure probably Letitia and her group may also go to court if it's going in a way. She already has a lawyer and all that, So it will not be right to just sit down here and say, oh, they are doing it illegally and all that. The laws are being tested in America, and America is a place where people, if they are dissatisfied about anything, they go to court, so that the court can interpret it and make sure that everybody's rights are being respected. So he's a different kind of president. He approaches his things the same way. And like I said at some point in this conversation, he has achieved a lot of results in terms of the immigration thing. Whether he's doing it in a way people didn't like. You don't see millions. If you look at the statistics, if you Google now and look at the statistics, how many people got into America maybe in January of 2025 when he took over, and how many people have come into America illegally this year? The difference will be in millions. It has dropped, So,
all right. So before we let you go, can you give us like an idea of what might be the outcome should Sister Letitia be eventually deported? What do you think it will spark? Public outrage, or there might be reparations if need be.
And will she even be in the first place?
Well, in the past 1 year to 2 years, thousands of people have been even been worse treated than Letitia has been treated. But like I said, a lot of them go to court. A lot don't have opportunity to go to court because they're already out before anybody can do anything. So a lot of people feel wounded and all that. If at the end of the day, the system says she will go home, I don't know, I don't think that there's anything anybody can do about it. What can be done is what is being done now. She has a lawyer, maybe she'll go to court and all that and all that. And at the end of the day, they may say, okay, you stay. But at the end of the day, the court say this woman has to leave the United States. There's nothing anybody can do about it. It is the law.
Wow. All right, thank you so much.
I guess your next guest will also be good to talk about because he lives in Texas, where most of these things are happening right now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, V. Martinello,
Thank
for
you.
your wonderful insights on this particular topic. And don't go anywhere. New Day continues after now with another interesting interview. Stay with us.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
We are local.
International communities observing the Why the main market is in chaos. People are
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended say aye. Aye. We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Oh, welcome back. Well, joining us via Zoom is AGK Okpa. He is a global affairs analyst and he resides in Dallas, Texas. Good morning, AGK from Nigeria. How are you doing? And thank you for joining us on the show.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
And of course, I would like to introduce host, Christopher Lele. Christopher, thank you once again for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Ejike. It's really nice to have you with us.
Okay, so Ejike, again, good to have you here. But a while ago, just before we brought you in, we were having a conversation around happening around Sister Letitia Waja, of course, in Texas. Her run-ins with the men of the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, ICE. You live in Dallas, Texas. I'm not sure it actually happened in Dallas, but of course, they're still within Texas. What were your reactions, or what were your thoughts when the news first broke of this particular event?
I'm not I'm not privy to the event, but what was the event? Is it about legal status or what?
Okay, so she was stopped by the ICE agency regarding her status, feeling that she doesn't have the legal right to be in the country. And although somehow she has been released, she still has more hearings, from the agency regarding the status and the claims from the agency. Now, we just want to get an idea from your end. You live in the US. What has it been like, for, in quotes, illegal citizens?
Well, I live in Dallas, like you rightly said. I haven't experienced it, but I see the news of people, getting stopped or get questioned, and then, sometimes there's a mistaken identity. I've experienced something like that, not myself, but a fellow ENUGU native, Kezioko, way back in the 90s, he was stopped and taken into custody, and then it turned out that it was a mistaken identity, and they released him. So, this may be the same case here, and this lady, since she's been released, maybe there'll be some administrative hearing, and then she's got to prove whether she's legally authorized to stay or not authorized to stay. I think we are facing that now because a lot of people come in and violate their visitation, and because of that, the suspicion and this tendency to pull you over or come to your job or anywhere and arrest you. That's why you have to have your ID. So when such a thing happens, you just show that you are legally authorized. For me, I think immigration is a very sensitive matter, and I've always encouraged even my own family members. I told them, if you come to America to visit me, and once before the visitation is over, make sure you leave. One time, one of my sisters came to visit, and she needed additional time because she wanted to do some medical checkup. I had to take her to the airport, which is the port of entry, and told them what happened, and they extended her visa. So what happens is sometimes, people don't understand the process. People think, they can overstay and get away with it. There's possibility that happens. But if you follow the legal process, you don't have any problem with American immigration. I have been here. I came here. I changed my status within 6 months. I was one of those people that got it. 6 months, I got my green card. I even went to work for a federal agency before I became a U.S. citizen. But, these things keep changing. And now people always talk to their village people, sometimes those people don't know anything. And they keep saying, don't worry, do this, do that, or even go get married. Again, there's a guy from my village who's passed away now. He came here under the program of the technical assistance that Nigeria had at the time. After his program was over, he told his wife, because he came with his wife, he told his wife to go back home, that he's going to stay back and see if he can legalize his status, that's getting a green card. But because of the nature of the visa that they were given, he couldn't change it. And some of my village people, I swear, told him, stay. He stayed, he married an American woman, but still he couldn't change his status. and he finally got sick, and he died in Dallas. So again, my thing, I'm always on the side of legal staff. My dad told me before I left ENUGU, he said, look, I was denied visa 2 times. I applied, I got it the 3rd time. My father said, I showed my father the visa. I said he wasn't going to let me go to America if I don't have a paperwork. And I showed it to him. And he said, okay, you're free to go. So I've always said, respect people's home when you go in there, and be a good ambassador. You know, America has the easiest immigration laws, but when people take it for granted, oftentimes they end up with an unhealthy experience.
Concerning the recent protests that is currently rocking, the United States, I'm sure there must be 1 or 2 around where you reside.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Dallas is a huge metropolis, and I mean, our employment is good, our economy is good, so immigrants go to where they get opportunity to work. It's not just going to America. So, but again, I'm not concerned about it. If it doesn't affect me, I don't necessarily. So I used to be immigration counselor, you know, because I'm not a lawyer, but I understand the process, and I have helped some people, you know, change their status from students to legal. Because I mean, American immigration, since I have done it, I never used a lawyer. I have never used a lawyer for immigration. It's a paper-driven process. You just have to know what form to pull, fill it out, submit it, pay the fee, and wait for it to be called for an interview. If you don't know it, you don't know it. And if you go to lawyers, American immigration lawyers, you know, this is not to put a dip on them, are fond of just, you know, milking you. If once they know you don't know, if you violated it, they say, oh yeah, you pay, you keep paying. You know, for something that could have cost you, been free, you know, or minimal, you know, cost to you, you end up paying thousands of dollars. They keep filing papers for you and trying to get you to stay. Well, at that time, you know, you're no longer comfortable, you're no longer happy. So my thing is get it done right from the beginning. But once you're done, you know, you're done. I've been a citizen since 1995. It was because of that citizenship I ran for mayor. You know, I also ran for Congress about how many years ago, 2022, and I've gotten appointed, you know, at various levels. So again, I'm on the side of get it done right, and don't come to another person's home and violate them. You know, when Ghanaians did it in Nigeria, you know, they ended up the way they did. So no country has any integrity if your borders are open. If it's a come one, come all, it's no longer valuable. There's got to be restriction, and if you meet the requirements, come on. That America was built by immigrants, but at the same time, we have laws, and so anybody thinking, oh, you know, you are an immigrant, you just come in. No, we came in and we changed the law, and so obey the law. Forget what the history said. The law is what we're talking about.
On certain Nigerians who have held, you know, senior positions with multilateral institutions like the United Nations and the WTO, World Bank, and the rest of them. So I want us to focus on a particular individual, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, during her tenure as a finance minister in Nigeria during the Obasanjo, you know, administration. You know, her work with the debt, you know, relief. What are your thoughts on that particular venture? Do you think it left Nigeria better or worse?
You know, good question. Before I came to America, I was fascinated by the World Bank and the UN, you know, WTO, and you know, all these agencies that, you know, if you don't know about them, you are impressed by them. But when I came to America, I started to understand their role, and I figured out, okay, any country that has credibility don't even have to go to World Bank for anything. You know, the president of the World Bank don't testify about American economy. Okay, isn't America part of the World Bank? So how come that World Bank has become an institutional organization that only less developed, less sophisticated countries go to for whatever it is they go to them for? So in terms of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Obasanjo brought her in. Nobody knew who she was, and then she came in, and Nigerians, as usual, were excited. There was somebody from World Bank, and she got some debt relief. Nigeria didn't even have to do that. In America, when you owe somebody, and if you can go and negotiate with them, you can talk with them, and if the terms and conditions under which you were made a loan didn't favor you, you are allowed to sue them. You are allowed to say, hey, you took advantage of me. That's why they call usury law. But Nigeria hasn't been able to do it. Instead, Nigeria keeps suffering from debt, and that debt keeps choking Nigeria, because oftentimes terms and conditions are not meant to favor Nigeria, but because of sense of desperation, Nigerians take it. So I have never been a fan of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. I don't think she's a sophisticated financial individual. It's just that, coming from the World Bank and, having PhD, which oftentimes, impresses Nigerians, she was able to get in with Obasanjo. One of the things she did at the time was she told Obasanjo, if she needed to be paid in dollars. And I'm saying, okay, here is a woman coming in to help, reorganize and invigorate Nigerian Ministry of and Economy, Ministry of Finance and Economy, and you are demanding to be paid in dollar. Obviously, she didn't have confidence in Naira. That's why she demanded that. And Obasanjo acquiesced. Obasanjo is one guy. I have met him several times. Obasanjo is impressed. If you say PhD, even if you say PhD in Igbo culture, he is too impressed with that. PhD doesn't impress me. I am about productivity. Because somebody started in the classroom for years and, keep taking tests and writing thesis and giving a paper at the end of it doesn't mean anything for me. Because I live in America, and a lot of people that have done great things don't have PhD. No American president, except for one, Woodrow Wilson, that had a PhD. No American president even has an MBA, except for George Bush. But we have had American presidents who didn't even finish college. And they've been able to do great stuff. So it's not the emphasis on the education, it's emphasis on what is the fire in your belly. What are you able to think through? I mean, Jesus, that day everybody keep jumping up and down. What school did Jesus go to? Even Muhammad. So yes, there's a level of education that is needed, but oftentimes it's the passion the individual has. So again, back to Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Again, I said I'm not a fan of her. I have, seen her speak, but then she didn't do very, very good job for Nigeria. Because if you remember, the first time Nigeria made a lot of money from oil revenue was when Obasanjo was in office. I think it was 2000 and Obasanjo left 2007. So during the first Gulf War, because of crisis in the oil supply chain from the Middle East, Nigeria made almost 70 or some number. I mean, almost between 60 and 70 billion dollars. And then Nigeria also had, some of their debts, forgiven, relieved. So you would think if that were the case, Naira would have stabilized. Because the measure of any strength of any economy is when you look at your local economy and you compare it to a foreign one. Typically, it's the dollar comparison. So if you look at when Ngozi was there, what Ngozi did, and Obasanjo was there, left to go to Jonathan, Yaradua to Jonathan, and Jonathan to Buhari, and Buhari to Tinubu. If you were to chart, that exchange rate comparison, we see that Naira has been losing value. Again, when I left Nigeria in 1980 something, and my ticket, was 698 Naira 50 kobo, that got me from ENUGU to Lagos to London to Dallas. But the equivalent value of that 600, almost 700 Naira back then was $1,200. That was the equivalent exchange rate. In fact, the first account I opened in Dallas when I came was the excess naira I had. I took it to the bank and I gave them the naira, and they gave me the dollar equivalent and opened a bank for me. Today, if you show up with any naira, if you show up with naira in any American bank, they'll say, what the heck is that? So in 40 years or less, you see how Nigerian chances have been, have diminished because the naira doesn't have value anymore. It's not a recognizable currency. If you go to any airport international, outside of Nigeria, you don't see any African currency listed on the exchange rate board. So what does that tell you about the African economy? And again, they keep going back and all looking to the World Bank. The World Bank lending capacity is less than $100 billion a year. Bank of America makes almost $1 billion loan a day. So the World Bank entire, lending capacity is not even 50% of what Bank of America or Chase Bank does. But then there are 100 and so many countries that, go to them, looking for guidance on the economy. You don't have to, like I say publicly, and I'm happy your station is having this conversation. The World Bank is not the institution. It's not even an institution, so to speak. The money they lend to countries is not even backed by U.S. Treasury. If you understand what money is, it's not backed by U.S. Treasury. What they do is they go around the world, they move money from anybody who can lend them money because of, that reputation, World Bank, and they turn around and lend you the money. And then from there, they build their own reserve, but that's how they get money. So U.S. Treasury, anybody can actually go there and buy something, lend them money, and they lend to you. You don't have to do this. And I keep saying it to the Nigerian administration because I think, because he was still there. I think she did some time with Jonathan after Obasanjo, she left and she came back under Jonathan. And, at the same time that Dizani was there. She recommended to Jonathan, to have, an officer of the World Bank in Aso Rock. Just imagine that. She recommended, and a few times she testified before the National Assembly, she was always quoting the World Bank said Nigeria has tonight. How come you don't say the University of Nigeria Institute of Economic Studies said we have to do this, or mention some local sources? Always the World Bank. I am as I suppose I am, I'm very offended when Nigerian professionals show up and they always quote the World Bank or European Union, anybody telling them what to do. When you have your PhDs, your educated people, why don't you use your local data? I said, this is what Abuja Institute of Economics something said we need to do, forget the World Bank. So I don't know whether this is a very short or long answer to your question, but Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is not a fan of it's not impersonal. I don't think she's capable of doing anything. As soon as she left the World Bank, what did she do? She ran out of Nigeria again, and then she started looking for a job, and now she's at the WTO. Since she's been at the WTO, how much trade has Nigeria done because of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala? And before Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala were other people. There are some other Nigerians that work. Kalu Idika Kalu was, work for the World Bank. And I'm always, I'm in contact with him. I was like, what is this? What did you guys learn in this World Bank? He said they did something for Korea. I said, you did something for Korea, but you did something for, what is their name? For Nigeria. Because he came back when Babangida then carried there. They were all from the same area. So, but my thing is, Nigeria is supposed to de-emphasize, all this reliance on World Bank, UN people. Or you work for UN, you work for UN, you come back and say UNDP, the National Development Program. What is that? I said, again, I live in Texas. At one time, I served on the World Affairs Council Executive Committee for Dallas Fort Worth. If you mention World Bank, what are we talking about? We cite our local examples, not World Bank, not these organizations.
All right, Okpa, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right, so over the years, many Nigerians have held top positions in the United Nations, Commonwealth, WTO, and the likes. The question now is, has Nigeria effectively leverage the networks and influence of its citizens in these international institutions? Or do we, let's say, have we failed to maximize these opportunities?
Well, all of the above, basically, and the prominent Nigerian who served as Secretary General of Commonwealth is Emeka Yobosi, man. Actually, in fact, he's a graduate of the secondary school that I went to, Merchants of Light. I've met him as well, and the irony is, at the time when he was even a member of the Commonwealth, Nigeria was kicked out of the Commonwealth. See, these people are administrative people. They are not the decision makers. They are just placeholders. They are clerks. So, but the decision as to what happens is made by the countries that are fundamentally behind this stuff. So, like, when a Ghanaian guy, Kofi Annan, was at the UN, there was the UN food program because of the Iraqi war. And then his son, who was born in Nigeria, because I think he was in Nigeria at the time before he went to the UN, married a Nigerian woman. His son got him, sort of involved in that whole program, and he was disgraced out of that position. What did Ghana get out of it? Lukman Rouhani was the first Nigerian to serve as Secretary General. Remember that, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Alison Madeke, Dizani keeps a president of what is it called, OPEC. No, president of OPEC he has no executive power. Is the Secretary General of OPEC, that because they are hands-on, they are administrative day to day. But any decision that needs to be made, it's going to be members that make it. And if Saudi Arabia doesn't support that decision, it doesn't work. So again, this is for you guys to understand, the role, the title they give to some of these people now, because what the world has learned to do is to let people from developing countries be in this group. Like the guy who is president of, Secretary General of the UN is from South America. I don't even know what countries come from. You wouldn't see an European, people from successful nations be into that position. So they give this appearance, okay, you guys, running shows. Like I said, we say in America, you running shows, but actually you're not running the show. If somebody else is making a decision, you just have to become, the face of it. So Nigeria hasn't gained anything from it. You could say, is it in the development? What is the development program of Nigeria in terms of UN? What is the financial muscle of Nigeria? Because Nigerians have worked at the World Bank. The World Bank is not a profit-making institution. So anybody who has worked there it's not like, when you work for a Bank of America or Chase Bank, where you account to the shareholders. In the World Bank, there's nothing like that. So they are not people that are really, really deep into economic development. They just people. I have gotten a solicitation from the World Bank, to send a proposal on water development. And I said, what do you guys know about water development? Because that's what they do. You've heard of this World Bank assisted water program. When I come to Nigeria and I see signs, we are doing World Bank assisted water or World Bank assisted mass transportation. I was like, what are you guys doing? You should find Nigerians that are involved in America that can come over there and tell you the how to make your Naira work better than what you get it from your world. But somehow Nigerians just love this, running after foreigners, and the foreigners I'm talking about is, what are you running after an Indian man for, or Lebanese man? Lebanese people don't even have a functioning economy or country, but they come to Nigeria, they are big boys and big girls. Or the Chinese, people I call the sea country people, they come over there. Because Nigeria has refused to go and woo their sons and daughters. Forget those who work for UN, World Bank, or WTO, World Health. Find the practical hands-on Nigerians who can talk to you about water development, how to strengthen your Naira, and how to make your Naira competitive. You can build the Nigerian economy on Naira, and you don't have to borrow from anybody. When you do it in a specialized manner, specific one time, but not all the time. You look at today's Nigeria, the revenue of Nigerian government is about $26 billion. Out of that 26 billion, almost 12 billion is to service the debt. You know, if you're a businessman, you can see how that is going to make things difficult for you to borrow. So Nigeria shouldn't have. If you borrow the money, borrow it from Nigerians. So that as you're paying them back, Nigerians are getting wealthy. That's what money does. But if you borrow from outside, you're making the outside person wealthy while you're stifling your own people. Money is not a creation of God. God didn't wire money to America to give to everybody. The Americans pretend they are dollar and they make it work for them. So if you're running around in classrooms and pitching your PhDs and beating your chest about how knowledgeable you are or smart, but when it comes to running your economy, you can't do it, then you are nobody. Because at the end of the day, what people are looking at country to country comparison, not individuals. So my thing is, I hope whomever becomes Nigerian next president begin to de-emphasize these people. If you're going to employ them, pay them in Naira. If they're not going to take the Naira, tell them like we say in Texas, get the heck out of here. You ain't got nothing to offer me. You know, you can pull yourself, like we say, by your bootstraps. You don't have to go to World Bank, WTO, European Union. What is there any university in the world, an African or Nigerian has graduated from? Oftentimes better than the locals, and still cannot get anything done right.
Before we let you go, because we've gradually run out on time, we'll have one more question for you. Now, let's step away a little bit from the World Bank and talk about African Development Bank. And we have one of ours as president, Adewumi Adesina. And if my memory serves me correctly, I think he worked with the Jonathan administration or Yaradua, I'm not so sure now. Now, how would you evaluate?
Go ahead.
All right, so how would you evaluate his performance? How has, his tenure and administration, how has it, positively impacted on the Nigerian economy and the Nigerian people?
Again, the impact you could talk about it because you live there, you are paid in Naira, and then you're making your life in that country. So what has African Development Bank done nothing. In fact, the biggest subscribers, because what they do is by subscription, the biggest subscribers to Africa, is China, Japan, America, and all these other countries. They just, again, because they don't trust the African financial institutions or their ability to do their own. So they create this stuff and they said, okay, yeah, you all go there. And the Africans somehow just get mesmerized by the word development. And if that development is attached to something foreign, they think, okay, that's where we're going to go get our cue as to what to do. The Adesina guy you're talking about, he was agricultural minister, during Jonathan, and I think he went to school here, but he didn't do anything. He was one of those guys who chased the PhD. He got the PhD and he ran home, and then he wears the bow tie. I think it's the clip-on type of bow tie. It's not actually, don't know how to tie it. And then, and then he did what he did, and then of course the opportunity to work at ADB came up and he ran to it. But what did he do? Again, look at the lending capacity. Financial institutions are measured on lending capacity. And when you make the loan, debt actually is an asset, because as the person you have lent money is paying you, you're building back your reserve, and at the same time you're creating wealth. Banks don't make money, they don't lend you money, but at the same time they're lending you money. It has to be relevant. It has to be the terms and conditions. If the terms and conditions make it harder for you, the borrower, to succeed, you're not going to make it. You're just recycling yourself. It's just like a dog trying to chase or catch his tail, or an individual trying to see your ears without using a mirror. So the point I'm saying is that these institutions, Africa at this stage, should not be going to and what is it called, ADB. My schoolmate, not my classmate from Merchants of Light, just got retired from the African Import-Export Bank. It's the same institution. These institutions are not backed by any African treasury. I hope you know what the treasury means. When American Export Bank is backed by U.S. Treasury because it's from Congress. But all of these institutions are not backed by any African treasury, because no African government has a deep treasury structure to back anything. So these institutions, again, go around the world and they try to mope money, M-O-P. So they mope money and they put it in a pile, and then they say, okay, let's go lend you money to go do infrastructure. Power. If Nigeria needs about, let me say, $20 billion every year to do what, to at least begin to scratch the surface of their infrastructure need. Not African Development Bank, not the World Bank, not Export Bank can even lend them that money. So what you want to do is you default to your local capacity. You default to straighten your naira, and you use your naira. You borrow it from the Nigerians. If you want $100 billion infrastructure, do that by subscription to Nigerians. Let every Nigerian, excuse me, every Nigerian who is a certain age, you subscribe. You buy 10,000 naira subscription certificate and let that money be. And when you pay it back, you pay Nigerians. So the Nigerian who's lent the government 10,000 naira, he's going to feel more invested. He's going to have a sense of ownership. But when you say World Bank, and they're jumping up and down, oh, the World Bank has lent us money. No, shut them out. Cut them out. Go to the Nigerians. You have 200 million people or more. If you can find that 100 million Nigerians who can lend Nigerian government money by small subscriptions, you will build your reserve. And then the Nigerians will have a sense of ownership participating. But when you pledge your oil revenue and go in and people lend you money, and there's this mago between those who are lending Nigeria money and Nigeria taking it, they make commission. Let me give you an example. And then maybe we can end the conversation. If you go to the World Bank to borrow, let's say, $1 million, okay? They will lend you $1 million, but you don't actually get $1 million. You get something like $800,000, but you are booked for $1 million. So the $200,000 that doesn't come back to the country stays with people who arrange that debt. Nobody lends money to America. Instead, they buy American treasury notes. Again, I'm a student of economics. I can teach that all day long. That's the difference. But in the case of Nigeria, they lend Nigeria money instead of buying Nigerian treasuries and having Nigerians subscribe to their own treasuries and use that to build the economy. So that's the difference. So Nigeria has a long way to go. You know how they say there's light at the end of the tunnel. You have to be in the tunnel digging to expect light at the end of it. Nigeria hasn't even started digging the tunnel. So there are all this expression that there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's imaginary. You have to be in the tunnel. You have to be digging, and that digging means perseverance and consistency. But if you are just sitting down and saying, oh, there's going to be light at the end of it, the light ain't going to come. The light ain't going to come. Nigeria needs to act like it. Nigeria is the only country of its size, triple digit, that it still hasn't figured it out. You go look at the 10 countries in the world that are 200 and something million. Nigeria is like number 4, number 5, the most populous nation in the world and the most populous Black nation in the world. You look around Nigeria, you look at our universities, look at our roads, look at the basic infrastructure that makes life worth living: water, light, roads, public safety. Where is Nigeria in it? But those are opportunities. There are challenges, but there are huge opportunities to get Nigerians to go to work. But not when the governors, 1 plus 36 men are out there. All they want to do is post pictures of their kids graduating from college abroad, and then, them showing you motorcades and driving around in SUV. I laugh because the woman that comes to clean my house in Dallas, the SUV she drives is better than what of the governors are showing off in. So that's not what is going to make Nigeria look like it's a developing country. It's not the cars, it's not the homes. Is the infrastructure, is access to water, access to power, ability to get on the road and don't have to feel somebody's going to kidnap you or hurt you or police pull you over. Until those things are done properly, Nigeria has no chance of being recognized.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ejike Okpa. You've always been a proponent of Africa de-emphasizing dependence on these institutions and rather focusing on local and diasporan capacity to move our economy forward. So thank you so much for your insights.
I'm going to come to ENUGU, and I hope you guys organize in a town hall in one of the local universities so we can have this conversation one-on-one. We need to provoke our people. When I write this, I don't write love letters. I provoke people, and I provoke you with information so that you can say, hey, I can get this thing done. That's it. You don't need all these other people. You don't need, excuse me, I gotta say this. You know that thing they say in the Bible, no prophet has honor in their village? They wrote it for Black people. Black people don't respect their own prophets.
We've run out of time, actually. Thank you so much, Mr. Ejike.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. It's been such an interesting conversation, I must say.
Absolutely, absolutely. We go on a short break, and when we come back, we will draw the show to a close.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
All right, thank you for staying with us. It's been an amazing and beautiful Sunday morning with you. We started with the newspaper review and went into other conversations, and not just things happening to us as a country, Nigeria, but also internationally, where we took a look at the ICE engagement with the Nigerian and also other situations, happening in the US and immigration and what have you. It was a smooth one. And I must say that it's really nice doing this with you.
Yes, I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Can you tell?
Right.
Don't forget, you can catch up on all our conversations online at Signature TV Official, of course, on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, across all social media platforms. I've been your host, Sigichi Agoram, and with me this morning has been Christopher Lele. And from all of us at Signature TV, ENUGU Studios, it is goodbye and God bless.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on eVibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
I should try harder, so...
Okay, I don't know that one.
Outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that. That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment, served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hub's on eVibes, where the vibes never stop. Only on Signature TV.
Tired of the snow? Tired of the bad TV signals? Nigeria has gone digital. Introducing Free TV, the national platform for every Nigerian. Get 100 plus channels immediately. Sports, news, and entertainment in your native language with clear picture quality. Whether you're in the city or the village, our satellite signal reaches every corner of 36 states from day one. No monthly subscription, just a compatible decoder and you are set. It's a national asset built for you. Take the show on the road, download the free TV app and stream your favorite channels anywhere. Starting this May, scan to download the app or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by NBC.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future.
Okay, it's great to have you on the program today. I believe you and yours are doing greatly well. It is with great joy that I welcome you to Gospel Lounge today. And of course, it's going to be an amazing time of all-round inspiration, leaving us better than what we have been. So gather your family and friends. Let's enjoy the show together. My name is Victor Chief Judge. It's good to have you on the show. All right, Psalms number 34 verse 1 says, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praises shall continually be in my mouth. One of the reasons for this confession is found in verse 4, which says, I sought the Lord and he heard me and delivered me from all my fears. You cannot thank God well if you don't know how to think. Good thinkers are great thankers. Your ability to think helps you to be grateful to God for all that he has done, the things he's doing, and the things he will still do. So all the days of your life, while you draw breath, let the praises of God continually be in your mouth. Choose any way you want to thank God and just bless his holy name. You can just say, I will bless the Lord at all times. He is good. Sing unto him aloud anyhow you want to do it. It is to the glory of his name. And I join you to say, to God who has blessed us and made all things beautiful for us, even though we have unnecessary and some things paining our hearts, we say to his name alone be glorified. In Jesus' precious name, amen and amen. All right. We're about to go to our next segment, which is reflection. But I just want to tell you something just to prepare your heart. One of the beautiful things about reflection or meditation, as it were, is that you will be able to have a true perception of life and receive adequate information or counsel to do the needful as it concerns your continued journey on the earth realm. So, this segment of reflection, do well to pay attention to all that will be said, so you will be inspired to move to the next level of your life. I will be right back to continue the show with you. All right. Thank you very much for being there with us. This is Gospel Lounge on Signature TV. I believe you were blessed so much by that segment of reflection. Please do well to put to work everything that you have heard. Your life will never remain the same again. Okay, I have a very wonderful guest in the studio today, and we are going to be talking about something very critical, Great Commission. And it's so powerful. You know, after the earthly ministry of Jesus, that's his assignment on earth, he gave the disciples an assignment that is global in scope. This assignment is what the Christian faithfuls call Great Commission, right? So the details of this assignment, you can find it in Matthew chapter 28 from verse 16 to 20, all right? I'll just feel like reading it. Then the 11 disciples went away into Galilee, into a mountain where Jesus had appointed them. And when they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. And Jesus came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Our conversation today will seek to know the content, the context, and the continuity of this command. And to discuss this topic with me today is a great father of faith in the city of ENUGU, whose ministry has spanned beyond the state, the nation, and the continent as well. For over 4 decades now, Reverend Emmanuel Ogidiolu is the lead pastor of the Triumphant Christian Church, headquartered here in ENUGU. He's an astute teacher of God's word, a man who believes absolutely in the authenticity of God's word. His passion to see men and women transformed into the image of Christ is so visible in his teaching ministry. There's a whole lot to talk about him, but today, guys, help me welcome Reverend Emmanuel Ogidiolu to Gospel Lounge. That is good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Welcome,
Justice.
sir.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
It's good to be here.
Yes. The Great Commission. This instruction today, in your own assessment, are we really obeying this instruction? What's your take on this today, especially the position of the church as it concerns the Great Commission? Are we really obeying this instruction?
Thank you so very much. I think this message is timely.
Okay.
Because I just attended a conference in Lagos.
Oh, wow.
Our network called Global Apostolic Impact Network.
Okay. Again, wow.
We had our reunion this year, February 16, 17, 18.
Okay.
And we were looking at the very fact that the Lord Jesus gave the church a commission, and he said to us, he said, the work I do, you will do also, greater works.
Okay.
And in the context of that, we were now looking at the Great Commission. How far is the church actually pursuing that mandate? Because, you know, that was the very last thing the Lord Jesus gave to the disciples. You just read Matthew. If you go to the book of Acts, you find out that in the 40 days of his conversation with those disciples, not just the 12, because Paul will later on remind us in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 that Jesus even met 500 brethren at once. And so you find out that in those space of 40 days, essentially, he was dealing with the subject of their empowerment to be able to fulfill the commission.
Yes, sir.
They were asking, oh, are you going to restore back the kingdom to Israel? And I said, no, that's not your business. The time that the Father has, that structure, is not your business.
Yeah.
But there is a mandate, there is an assignment. You will receive power. The Holy Spirit come upon you when he come upon you, and you will be witnesses to me in Jerusalem, in Judea and Samaria, all to the uttermost part of the earth. And it's not just for us to preach, is for us to make disciples of nations.
Yeah.
Is for us to minister to people and make them disciples of Christ.
Yeah.
Disciples. Men and women that will represent God in whatever sphere of influence God plants them.
Yeah.
That is our mandate.
Yeah.
Now, it's almost 2,000 years.
Yeah.
The early church pursued it. They started it. But somewhere along the line, there was some distraction.
Yes, sir.
And I can just tell you the truth. We in the 21st century, we are way far behind it.
My God.
Because the mandate to make disciples is not what we are pursuing. And that is why today we have superficial disciples.
Yes, sir.
Superficial disciples. And we've turned the church to a consumer church where the need of the people is a priority. Because we say, well, that's what we attract them. But that's not what Jesus said.
Yes. Yes.
Jesus was specific. Go into the world, go into the nations, preach the gospel, make disciples, teach them to obey the things I have taught you, I have commanded you.
Yeah.
And I am with you.
Probably.
But somewhere along the line, we've gotten distracted. And that mandate, not obeying that mandate, is the result of what we are seeing today.
My God.
And you know, we have not separated crowd from church.
True. Yes. Yes.
And unfortunately, we think crowd represent discipleship. No. And we are more interested in the attendance. We are more interested in the physical structure.
Yeah.
We are more interested also, sadly, the financial things that come into the church.
Oh, yes.
I don't know whether it's on this platform, I've said it, that the standard of what the church is calling growth is totally wrong.
Yes,
and what is the yardstick? Attendance, building, and cash.
Hey.
I call it the ABC of what we call the gospel today. Wow. But none of this was what Jesus was thinking about when he said, go and make disciples.
Yes.
Now, let's be honest. We have so many people today in our nation, for example, and say they are believers, they are all of that. But why is our nation not changing?
Yes, that's
why
a very
has the
serious
landscape not changed? The landscape not
yes.
changed. Why have we not felt the energy, the positive energy of those people?
Yeah.
In the different sphere of influence, whether it's in politics, whether it's in the economy, whether it's in education.
Yeah.
Just talk about all those areas, entertainment, media, and all of that. Why?
God.
Because the church has not produced disciples.
True. Yes, sir.
We have produced churchgoers, we have produced religious people, but we have not produced disciples.
Yes.
Men that we go to public space, men that we go out there to that territory of influence where God plants them, and they will know beyond all shadow of that, I am here to represent a kingdom. I am here to represent the value of the kingdom. I'm here to represent the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
We've not produced people that way.
True.
We have not. We have not. And that is why we're in the mess that we are today. We've not produced people that can stand for the kingdom of God. People who will stand for the value of the kingdom of God. People will say, I am standing for Christ. We have not produced people. We've produced people that are more interested in what God can do for them. That's why I call it a consumer church. So we attract them by their needs.
By their needs, not really for their souls.
So whatever program we put down there is just to be able to attract them. You come, God will fix this for you. Now, are we saying that God does not meet people's need? No, far from that.
No, yeah.
But that's not the priority. As I look personally into the life of our Lord Jesus Christ, I found out the needs of the people were not his priority.
Yes.
His priority was the agenda of the Father for him. And in following that agenda of the Father, he is now able to meet the people's need. But today, we feel their need is more important. So we are more interested in their comfort than their transformation. Have you noticed that the average preacher is teaching a transactional God?
True.
He's not teaching a God who says, come to me the way you are, but when you come, I want to change you and transform you. No, we're teaching a God that says, okay, come to me, let's do transaction. You give me this, I will give you that. And you do this, and I will do this. That's what we teach. That cannot change people. That's not discipleship. What they taught, and we see it in the scripture, is take up your cross and follow me.
Follow me.
Follow me. And that's what they do. And Jesus is not going to, the cost of discipleship is high.
It's high, yes.
I mean, in chapter 6, Jesus was teaching them, and he's saying, except you drink my blood or eat my flesh, you will not. Now, they didn't understand it. They didn't ask question. They thought they were going to eat him physically. That was not what he was making.
Yeah.
He was making reference to the fact he was going to die. He was going to pay a price. And he said, except that you will not. If you don't eat me, I'm the true bread. I'm all of that. And guess what the Bible says? The disciples, these people are followed for a while. They say, this is a hard saying. We are going on. And they left. And Jesus turned to the 12 and said, hey guys, are you also going?
Yeah. Will you also go?
Will you also go? And Peter turned to him and said, Lord, to whom shall we go?
Yeah.
You have the word of eternal life. Now, there was no run after them. You guys, why are you staying here? Run after them and bring them back. Because the stake is high. God is not going to bring the standard low because he just wants people.
Yeah.
Jesus did not do that.
Yes.
And even when Peter spoke out, what did he say to Peter? He said, well, have I not chosen you 12? One of you is a devil. And he was speaking of the one that would betray him.
Yeah.
And that is why you'll find that all those men that followed him, apart from Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him and committed suicide, all of them die as martyrs.
Yes.
In fact, the only person that died naturally was John.
John, yes.
And even after all he has gone through, church history will tell you what the guy went through.
Yes.
So these people understand the price. They saw the one they followed and they don't know. Because he came to change.
Yes.
To introduce a kingdom and a king. So it's not a question of vote for me or I vote for you. No.
But now the envisaged failure in our time today, and the distractions, as it were, that has made us not to achieve this very instruction.
Yeah.
What would you say is responsible for this?
You see, part of what has caused distraction for us is cultural pressure, materialism. We are teaching a pseudo gospel. I'm being honest with you. Most of what we teach that look like gospel isn't. It's what Paul called another gospel.
Another gospel, yes.
Because when you teach a gospel and say, look, come to Jesus, Jesus will solve all your problem. Come to Jesus. You are not married, Jesus is going to give you a husband, Jesus is going to give you a wife. Come to Jesus. You have this need, Jesus solve your problem. So that's not what Jesus says you go and say.
That's not it, yes.
That's not the gospel. He didn't say you should go and say that. The gospel is good news. Yes, the Spirit of God is upon me. He has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor.
Yes.
He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, preach deliverance to the captive, recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. So in that manifesto is deliverance.
Yes.
But what he's saying is this: there is a change of allegiance. You are in a kingdom that is totally in opposition to God. So when you come to Jesus Christ now, you need to understand that you are being taken out of this dark kingdom of Satan and you are transferred into another kingdom. The Bible calls the kingdom of the Son of His love.
Yes.
In that kingdom, Jesus is the Lord. So His lordship is that you now say, okay, I have come to your kingdom and you are not Lord over me. And Jesus said now, in Luke 6, for example, 46, say, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and you don't do what I say? So in this kingdom now, His word is final authority over my life.
True.
So why He's saying, come the way you are, He's also not telling me, I love you enough to ask you to come the way you are, but I love you more than you ever imagine.
Yes.
I will not leave you the way you have come.
True.
So when you come into this kingdom, then the kingdom now begin to change you. You have a transformation of your mind. You know, there's a resetting that starts.
Yes.
Because the ultimate purpose is that God wants to conform each and every one of us to the image of His Son, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
So that Jesus becomes the firstborn among many brethren.
Yeah.
Now, we are thinking that the end result is, I give my life to Jesus Christ, I'm going to have a good time. Nothing wrong with that. I give my life to Jesus Christ, I'm going to drive a good car.
Yes.
That's not. I'm going to give my life to Jesus Christ, I'm going to have a good life. There is nothing. He came that you may have life and have it more abundantly. The abundant life is not to be translated as meaning abundance of things.
Yeah.
Because He has already said man's life is not measured by abundance of things.
True.
But that He will transform us so that each and every one of us will now take on the image of Christ. So I am an accountant and I'm working in an office. I'm now a disciple of Jesus Christ. So people will now see what it is if Jesus were to be in this office physically as an accountant. So what will Jesus do if Jesus is the accountant in this office?
My God.
So I'm now a medical doctor. I've given my life to Jesus Christ. I'm now His disciples. So men are going to see what it is that Jesus, as a physician, how is He going to attend to these patients? I'm a teacher in the class. I'm a lecturer in the university. So what does it mean that Jesus is a lecturer? So Jesus is now a lecturer through you, who is now the lecturer in the class.
Oh, yes.
So if Jesus were to be there physically teaching those children, would Jesus take advantage of the girls? Would Jesus take advantage of young people? How will His mentorship be like? These are things that Jesus said, teach them, so that when they go out to that space, that world where I have planted them, their own territory of influence, they will now manifest me there in such a way that people get to know me. Not just because somebody preached, but because they see a life that is designed that represent Christ likeness.
Oh my God.
That's what discipleship is all about.